What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. These are my Week 16 DFS NFL Picks. Let's win. Some quick announcements before I get into my picks. All right, I'm bringing back the league where you get to compete with me. There's going to be no elaborate prizes. FanDuel gives away cash prizes. So it's just a fun league, just something simple, a 20-man league. $2 to enter. I'll give the information at the end for that. Also, make sure you keep watching YouTube. I'll be coming out with several other sports videos. As you guys may have heard on the podcast, I've been talking about it. I'll also be doing a fantasy football award show. I'll also be doing week 17 waivers for those of you that still play in week 17 for traditional leagues. So make sure you stay tuned to the YouTube, stay tuned to the end of the video, and always keep listening to Couchcast, the official podcast of Fantasy Couch. You know how we like to do. We start off with the kickers, then defense, then we go back up and pick quarterbacks. We like the cheap options for kickers and defense. So for kickers this week, my minimum price kicker of the week is Josh Lambo, $4,500. That's minimum price, going against the Browns. An alternate option is Ryan Suckup, same price, going against the Jaguars. They allow quite a bit of fantasy points to opposing kickers. And Robert Aguaye, I really like this kicker this week. A bit of a risk because he was trash and very inaccurate the first half of the season, of the regular NFL season, but the second half he's drastically improved. He's been pretty decent, and facing the Saints, and it's gonna be in a dome, so no weather conditions, no snow, no high winds. I like it, but it is a super high risk, a little bit more of a GPP kicker than a cash game kicker that you want to really bank on to have a high floor. My two favorite kickers this week are Stephen Gostkowski and Matt Bryant. That's if we're not including the salary when we factor that in. So Stephen Gostkowski is only $4,800, super cheap price in a game that should be that Vegas has as a 2-score spread, hands down by far the biggest spread this week, meaning that the Patriots should have a huge lead from the get-go all the way to the end of the game. That should ideally mean, or theoretically mean, more field goal chances for the Patriots, more red zone chances, good drives, and for them to settle for field goals towards the end of the game. If it's like, should we go for it, should we not? We're already up by 2.5 touchdowns. Yeah, let's just kick a field goal. No need to risk it and be up by 3 touchdowns. And of course, Matt Bryant. I could have went with Justin Tucker, but those two are like, it's so close. And Matt Bryant, I just like more. I believe Justin Tucker, I don't have him written down, but I believe he's $5,300 and Matt Bryant's $5,200. So might as well go with the guys $100 cheaper. No problem with Justin Tucker though, but I have those two pretty much tied, and Matt Bryant's $100 cheaper. For defenses, do you know which defense I'm going to name? For my punt of the week, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at $4,000. Could be a low-scoring game. It's in Jacksonville. I don't have a lot of trust in this defense, but it's good at $4,000. We're actually not going to stick him in, though. I don't trust him that much. I also like the Cardinals as a crazy GPP pick. It's a crazy pick because the Cardinals defense has not been playing well. I think Tyrann Mathieu is going to play, but he's probably banged up. He hasn't been good. This defense has been trash, especially the pass defense, and Seahawks are heavily favored to win. They're playing in Seattle, so that doesn't bode well. But I wanted to throw that out there because the price is cheap and it may be overlooked. It may be a little bit of a contrarian pick. Now defenses I trust. These are the two that probably my favorite defenses this week are the Packers at $4,600 facing the Vikings. I don't see the Vikings putting up a lot of points. And if they're rushing and scrambling to put up a lot of points, that could cause for turnovers, loss of downs, fumbles. Adrian Peterson's not playing, so Asiata and McKinnon getting stuffed. That's team Vikings offense. When they run, they get stuffed quite often. And I like the Chiefs at $4,700. Keep in mind that this game is Sunday Night Football. We're going to mainly concentrate on the main slate, which is 12 games going Saturday only, from Saturday morning to Saturday night. Now, there's 2 games Sunday. And one game Monday night. I might mention those games during this video. I probably will a little bit, but we're going to mainly focus on the 12 Saturday games. This week especially has been really hectic. Sorry for a guy like me to come out with these videos with Thursday night football, Saturday night to Sunday night, Monday. I mean, what the heck's going on? It's tough, but yeah, we'll focus on the 12 game Saturday more. So just real quick, wanted to touch on the Chargers defense. I like them a lot going against the Browns, okay? And the Titans are going against the Jaguars. They're both priced at the same price, $4,900. Now I see these two being owned quite a bit in GPPs, maybe one you want to fade. Like I said, I like them both. I like the Chargers slightly more because the Browns suck. But yeah, they'll be picked a lot. I think the Packers might be overlooked. Even the Chiefs. I mean, I think the Chiefs could be the best defense this week. I like the Chiefs and the Seahawks. Seahawks are 5,000 playing at home. I like those two quite a bit. Have you seen the Broncos offense as of late? I mean, it's tough. If Derek Johnson, their middle linebacker on the Chiefs, was healthy, this would be an even better pick. So it's like, how do you attack the Chiefs? You run against them. And the Broncos have not been able to run. Justin Forsett seems like the starting running back there, and he's really no good. He's been on 1, 2, 3 teams and been cut like 3 or 4 times. The Ravens cut him and brought him back and cut him again, or whatever they did. You know, a guy like that it can't be that great of a running back. Let's just say he's no Ezekiel Elliott. Let's go back up to quarterbacks. I have one guy for cash games. You can use them in GPP too. But one guy in cash games that I can rely on, and that's Tom Brady. And the price in a cash game is going to be worth it because so many things can happen to the other quarterbacks. There's about like 6, 7 quarterbacks that are great this week. But the one I like the most is Tom Brady. The one I can rely on the most, the one with the highest floor, is Tom Brady. It's not like we haven't seen Belichick secure home field advantage for the Patriots before, you know, clinch a bye, clinch playoffs, clinch home field. They've done it before. And what did they do? They played hard. Okay, so this is what they do. They face the Jets. I think that's enough said about Brady. I think I've made my point. I think I won my argument with that. I mean, really the only argument against him is his price. But like I said, cash game, he's going to be worth it. Now, he's not the only other option there. You got Drew Brees, 8,500 in a home game. Enough said about that too. It's a home game. So we know Brees has just been on fire. I mean, it's just that the stats are just out of control. He gets, I don't know the exact number, but it's over 300 yards and nearly 3 touchdowns in home games the last few years. It's just amazing. This guy is on fire at home. And 8,500 is expensive, but really not bad. You had other options. You got Andrew Luck going against the Raiders. You got Matt Ryan. You know, there's just factors against this. You know, Andrew Luck. How's that offensive line going to look against Khalil Mack? How's the weather going to be in Oakland? I don't think the weather is going to be bad, but I don't think it's going to be good either. You know, Matt Ryan, I would like way more if the game was in Atlanta. But still, I mean, I still like him because he has Julio Jones back. And that's really, and we know what they did against the Panthers before. Man, they're not going to, you know, let's say they do stop Julio Jones. It definitely could happen. We saw Julio Jones get 1 reception for 7 yards when they faced the Saints earlier this season. So, I mean, that could happen. But stopping Matt Ryan, I don't see that happening. Like, worst case scenario is that the Falcons get a lot of rushing touchdowns instead of Matt Ryan balling. I mean, that's really, like, the Falcons are going to score, and we like that, okay? And for running back, of course, I like Ezekiel Elliott, but he plays Monday night, so he's not going to count for a lot of people that are watching this video. They want more, you know, main slate and maybe some Sunday night games. But Ezekiel Elliott is probably my favorite running back. There is small risk about them resting players. I just don't see that as a realistic scenario, though. I don't think they will rest Ezekiel Elliott at all. The only realistic scenario I see them resting him is they have a large lead in the 4th quarter. They have a ton of running backs on that team. So after that, they might rest him. If they were to rest him, I think it would be next week, week 17, and not this week, week 16. I just don't like it. The possibility is there, but I don't see it happening. Like it's 99% chance they're not going to rest him unless they have a huge league and it's the fourth quarter. That's the only realistic scenario I see. DeMarco Murray. Now, here's the guy that I really like because I might avoid like Le'Veon Bell and David Johnson this week. Excellent running backs, by the way. I just might go more for value and not go high priced with those guys necessarily. And, FanDuel, it's half point PPR. If it was a full point, maybe I like David Johnson a little bit more. But you can get DeMarco Murray for $8,400. And we've seen him get his touchdowns vultured. But even when that happens, he still does pretty good, right? So just think of the touchdowns not getting vultured, which is, hey, there's a good chance he may not get vultured, right? Think of that as a bonus. So, we got a guy who's going to get you 14 fantasy points. And if he gets in the end zone, awesome. That's going to be 20 fantasy points, So that's how you got to think of it. And it's only $8,400. Jordan Howard, only $7,200. This is going to be pretty good. It has a good matchup against Washington. Spencer Ware, Sunday Night Football. Love the price here. Ty Montgomery, $6,300. Love the price as well. Now, let's get a little more risky, guys. We got Mark Ingram and Thomas Rawls. Very risky right here. I just wanted to mention Mark Ingram, $6,300. Thomas Rawls, $6,200. I think Mark Ingram's a better back on the Saints. The Saints will run the ball against the Bucs and will run the ball successfully. So any of those two Saints running backs can make their way into your lineup. And Thomas Rawls, he sucks, but he's facing the Cardinals. Not a good matchup either. Okay, he sucks. Tough matchup. Okay, but they should have a large lead. They're at home. If he can just punch in a touchdown at 2 at the 1 yard line, that's going to be really good. So he's got that touchdown potential. Some cheaper guys. Now these are great values right here. Kenneth Farrow, $6,100 going against the Browns. Frank Gore, only $6,000 going against the Raiders. If Frank Gore's more of a cash game guy, right? Because he never finishes like top 2 running back, top 3 running back, but he always finishes like top 12 running. Like he's really like RB7, RB6. He's always in that territory every week. Like he's always good, always a top 10 running back, always reliable, but hardly ever a top 2 running back, right? Not like, David Johnson, Ezekiel Elliott, those guys, and Melvin Gordon when he was healthy. Melvin Gordon is ruled out, by the way. We also have Rob Kelly at $5,800. You kind of need this guy to get a touchdown, though, to really, really be worth it, but definitely has that potential to get that. And Dion Lewis, $5,100 going against the Jets. I like this guy really, really off. I mean, I can give you a bunch of stats, but I throw that out the window when it comes to the Patriots. I'm not going to pretend to know what they're going to do. I really don't. We know that he's talented. We know that it's probably him or Blunt that's the main guys. Why I like him is the price. $5,100, that's nearly minimum price for a game where they're going to have a huge lead. And Dion Lewis is immune to the game script, so I mean, that's not a big deal with the game like this, but you have to factor it in. I mean, it's something. So if they're behind or if they want to pass a lot, Dion Lewis is the guy. We know LeGarrette Blount averages like less than 1 reception a game. He does not catch balls for the Patriots. Moving on to wide receivers. My favorite guy happens to play Sunday, so you may be able to use him, you may not. And that's Antonio Brown. Only $8,300 with the Ravens cornerback. Number 1 corner out. Jimmy Smith is out. Antonio Brown, excellent floor, excellent ceiling, excellent value, excellent price. Okay, let's move on. All you got to know is it's Sunday night. The game is Sunday and they're facing the Ravens. That's all you got to know. And his price is $8,300. Let's go over some great cash game picks and some great GPP picks. I'm going to focus a lot on value here. So my 3 guys in the mid-range are Julian Edelman, $6,700 going against the Jets. We already talked about that. Michael Crabtree, $6,200 going against the Colts. Why I pick Crabtree and not Cooper is the price. Now, I like Cooper slightly more than Crabtree, okay? I don't see one of them like wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. You can almost label those guys on every team, you know, like Odell, wide receiver 1, Shepard, wide receiver 2. In the case of the Raiders, I wouldn't dare to label either one wide receiver 1 or 2. Cooper has been doing better. His price is lower. I think, Crabtree's been doing better statistically. But Cooper, I think, is the big play guy. He would be the guy to catch a short pass, a slant, and take it to the house. He's just a more big-time receiver. But those plays are rare, okay? Crabtree is the guy you definitely want for value. He's 6,200, and how much is Cooper? Cooper is 1,000 more at 7,200. So we let the price dictate it and pick Crabtree. I mean, if you're doing multiple GPP lineups, you definitely want, you know, some with Cooper, some with Crabtree. And another thing, ownage percentage has been much higher with Cooper than Crabtree as well. So when I did pick Crabtree a couple times and he balled out, it was awesome. Not too many people picked him. And the third guy I got is Golden Tate at 6,000, but I like those other two a lot more. And keep in mind, Golden Tate plays Monday night. Not a lot of slates going on that you guys want. Some cheap wide receivers that I really like. Dontrell Inman going against the Browns, only 5,600. Great matchup. I absolutely love this. The price is right. The matchup is right. Everything is perfect. We also have Ted Ginn, 4,800, going against the Falcons. Panthers should need to pass a little bit towards the end and get back in the game. And basically just a punt. Kendall Wright at only 4,500, going against the Jaguars. Now, three guys that are risky in GPPs, though, so these are my tournament plays. I got DeAndre Hopkins, only 6,600. Devontae Adams, only 6,600 as well. We know a lot of people will not pick him because of last week. You know how it goes. Last week they do bad. This week they get less ownership. And number 3 guy is Corey Coleman, 5,100, going against the Chargers. Should be a good matchup. I think Terrell Pryor is the one that's going to put up a stinker, and Coleman should get at least 5, 6, or 7 targets. I think this one's going to be good. And I mean, 5,100. He's a Cleveland Brown, so the risk is maybe a 9 out of 10. We're talking about quite a risky pick here, only for GPPs. Do not pick Corey Coleman in a cash game. You don't want to take that much risk. For tight ends, obvious Greg Olson's a beast, you know, but why pick him when you got, look at these two guys, all right? Delaney Walker, 6,400, going against the Jags. Awesome tight end. And you have Cameron Brate, probably my favorite tight end this week, going against the Saints. We already talked about this game. He's only 5,600. He's been getting just as many targets as Mike Evans. He's been awesome. This guy he's one of the top tight ends this year, surprisingly. That could be because Eifert and Gronk and Reed fell off this year. And, man, this guy has been, dare I say, an elite tight end this year. And keep in mind, he was not the starter at the beginning. Or actually, he kind of was. Or Austin Seferian-Jenkins was, I'll put it like this. Austin Seferian-Jenkins was supposed to be the starter in the beginning. So, you know, but he was the main guy, and he's no longer on the team. And Cameron Brate has been balling. So real quick, though, 2 punts I want to mention real quick. Minimum price, we have Charles Clay and Jack Doyle. That's 4,500. That's the minimum price for tight ends. And 2 crazy GPP picks. We have Kobe Fleener at 4,700, a guy you cannot trust, and that's why you pick him as a crazy GPP pick. And Gary Barnidge at 4,500. Talk about trust issues. I don't trust Gary Barnidge, but I want to throw those guys out there. They may be overlooked. Definitely contrarian pick. Those are all my picks for week 16, guys. Make sure you follow the link below and sign up for FanDuel if you haven't already. Use promo code FantasyCouch. All right, follow the link below. Use promo code FantasyCouch. And below that, so make sure you read the entire description. I'll give a link out to this week's league. It's a 20-man league, $2 to enter. I'll be playing in it, you know, whoever else will play in it, Fantasy Couch fans, they love this. So I'm bringing it back, just a little friendly league, you know, 20 players. I'm not sure yet, top 7 or top 5 will get a cash prize, whatever it is, I'll set it up, and the link will be below. So make sure you guys enter that. I wish you guys good luck this week in championship games, and good luck this week on FanDuel. Make sure you guys watch my how to play DFS strategy and introduction video. If you haven't already, I'll be coming out with lots more videos. Make sure you give a thumbs up and like this video. Leave a comment below if I missed any picks or if you have any questions or just want to say you're doing a great job. I'll see you guys on the next video.